right, everybody, we're live right here at the PBIL, man, and I got Miss Ella from Booker T, Washington, the home of the Golden Eagles. Is that right, Miss Ella? And what class did you come out of, 69?
Came out of the class of 1969.
Wow, man, and I'm so glad to see you here, to be able to accept your award, and man, everybody don't realize how important your class was, because y'all was the first class to really start the integration, and the Booker T Washington football team went to almost to the state, man. I followed you guys all the way. And we talk about Larry Foster and all of the guys that was on that Booker T Washington football team.
They were all great.
They were fantastic. But you have to remember, Miss Ella, I've been a Booker T Washington, even though I'm a Jack Yates line. But I've been a Booker T Washington ever since I used to swim with Coach Luther Booker before he came to Jack Yates. Everybody didn't realize, but Coach Booker started out at Booker T Washington. Right. And he was a winner with the swimming team then. You guys always had a swimming team.
Right. And he was also instrumental in our 1968, 69 football team, making as far as it did go.
And you know, I do a lot of history, and I know that is the largest high school game that's ever played at Rice Stadium. In fact, you guys were the only high school game, period, to ever play at Rice Stadium. Y'all was the first and the last.
Our school, Booker T Washington, has to stand regardless, win or lose. We are Eagles by heart.
And I've been keeping up with the Booker T Washington Eagles from Coach Sims and all the way on up to Eric Dickerson and Eric Dickey and I even go back as far as McDaniel.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Oh, and all of these guys are all part of here. And see you today, Miss Ella, coming to get your award. What did you get your award from, Miss Ella?
I got my award.
Hold it up so they can see. All right. And what did you get your award from, Miss Ella?
For track.
And
we were the first track team in HISD girls, because when we ran back in 67, 68, track was not a part of the curriculum for HISD. So we had to run unattached. It was 4 girls, and we did everything from jumping hurdles to 40-yard gimnastics, throwing shot puts, and you name it, we did it before. And we carried our boys to that team, and we won state several times in 67 and 68.
even during the segregation, and even when y'all integrated, y'all still was state champions.
Yes.
That is strong.
Basically, all our memory years, we were not able to have at the school.
Yeah, so y'all couldn't keep y'all.
Keep it at the school because it was a part of the HISD. So it spread from houses.
So in other words, the HISD would not let y'all bring down stuff over there on 39th. That's what school was like.
Right, on 39th.
Oh, wow. And at that time was Mr. Huckabee had already left.
Mr. Huckabee, Franklin Wesley was out.
Mr. Wesley came in after Mr. Huckabee.
Because the school district would not let us bring the stuff up on the policy and have any placement because we were not a part of it.
And you know, a lot of people didn't realize that, and girls didn't have that kind of curriculum. You know, girls was not able to be running track, or even playing girls basketball. They didn't have that when we were going to school.
And
even girls volleyball.
But volleyball and art teams, we had that.
Oh, so we had that.
And they had girls swimming, but it wasn't, it was part of the curriculum, but it wasn't a widespread deal where they won championships or trophies and things like that.
It wasn't a real popular sport.
Yeah.
And the girls track team, y'all didn't have, it wasn't even in the HISD curriculum.
No, it was not.
So girls did not run track.
From 1970 when it became part of HISD curriculum.
And when it wasn't part of the curriculum, that means y'all couldn't display y'all trophy at the school and none of that. And y'all won the trophy because y'all was ran unattached most of it, right?
I ran against most of the time we were running against Alpha, Prairie girls.
The college girl.
The college girl. And our coach, I want to put him in, who's Coach Charles Allen. He started the track season, what they call UIL, I think,
bicycle scholastically.
Right. He would come around and pick up everybody in Stuartwood that wanted to run track.
Wow.
And he had a pickup truck. And in this pickup truck, he would load all those people in the pickup truck.
Wow.
And this is how we got started.
And that's the girls' track team. And really, in reality, Booker T. Washington was the only high school that did that because Yates, I know, didn't have girls' track team, but this was an all-boys thing.
Right.
And it's so good to let these girls know that this thing, how far that you have taken the females to the athletic department.
Right. We ran against DCL more.
Oh.
All these schools that were here today being represented, some of the people out of the class of 69, the young lady that was up there with tennis from DC Elmore. We ran against a lot of them.
Okay, well, how about was MC Williams, was that your day?
No, MC Williams at that time, it was a senior school, but you know, they were getting ready to go under.
Oh, okay.
And that's when they brought them down and made them middle school.
Right. So therefore, BCM, how about Fidelity Manor?
Fidelity Manor.
Yeah, because all of these are 3A schools.
North Shore and all those schools in that area that were black schools.
All the black schools.
Those are the ones that we ran against.
Okay, because they had track teams.
They had track teams.
Okay, girl track team.
Girl track teams.
And you know, Miss Ella, and what's your last name, Miss Ella?
Ella Carter Stewart.
Miss Carter, you do not know how much I appreciate this, and I know my pastor, Pastor Luther Walker, who finished out of Booker T in 1964.
My classmate, we considered ourselves brothers and sisters back in the day. And I used to keep him in line.
And you hear that, Pastor Walker?
He was a character, and you know it.
Oh, Rodine, you hear that, Rodine? Well, Pastor even admit that himself. But what about Castro? And and it's so good that I can talk about this because I've been part of this, even though I'm a Jack Yates line. But I still feel I got to keep it on my mind because I'll forget. And swimming against them guys, like I'm gonna tell you a name that I know you probably heard of. His name was Longstaff.
Yes.
And
Longstaff is a second cousin.
And I know something about Stuartwood. Well, for number one, the reason why I'm so strong in Booker T. Washington, because my cousin, Chris Stevenson, his name is Chris Murphy. He was the first cousin of Bay Bunny. Yeah. And everybody in Stuartwood knew Bay Bunny.
Yeah, we all know Bay Bunny.
Now, I let you know, I know my history. I ain't somebody just came out of Third Ward. It wasn't no 44. And by the way, let me get this straight too, so you'll know some history. Jack Yates Principal is a graduate of Booker T. Washington. Miss Tiffany Gilry.
Yeah. Well, you also have assistant principal, which is my play daughter, Yolanda Calhoun, is assistant principal at Jack Yates High School.
Now you see why I keep saying Jack Yates? Because there's always been a link between Jack Yates and Booker T. From the time Booker T opened up as the first black school in 1893 to Jack Yates opened up until 1926, they always been close. Miss County is the granddaughter of Reverend Jack Yates. That just show you how close Jack Yates and Booker T is. And the first principal came, which was James D. Ryan. He came from Colored High, which originally was Booker T, in 1926 to open up Jack Yates. And it's so good because I can talk to this history and I see these people videoing this and everybody know that I do history on the YouTube page. And see that one time, all three principals had a junior high school named after them, and they're all principals of Colored High and Booker T. Washington. Mr. Ryan over there, and first of all, Mr. E.O. Smith came out of Colored High. And then also to see Mr. Ryan, who came out of Colored High. But now my junior high school, William E. Miller, Mr. William E. Miller was the principal after Mr. Ryan left. And then in 1927, they changed the name from Colored High to Booker T. And Mr. William E. Miller, which I went to Miller Junior High School, and you heard of Miller. Okay, he was a principal when they changed the name from Colored High to Booker T. And to know the history of all the good things that Booker T have done to our community, knowing when they was in Fourth Ward, and to see it moved out to Stuartwood in 1958, that was a blessing, man, because people in Studewood, they had to catch the bus all the way to Phyllis Wheatley. It wasn't no high school in Studewood, which we call Independent Heights. It wasn't no high school until they moved Booker T out of Fourth Ward and brought it to Studewood for you guys. Because if they wouldn't have did that, you guys would have to catch the bus all the way to Fifth Ward, and I know you didn't want to do that.
Yeah, but one thing I want everyone to know, that Booker T. Washington still needs our alumni people to come in and participate, because just like they say, they're trying to wipe away history. They've already taken our school and cut it down to a smaller size. And we need for you all to come out. And we have it on September the 24th. It's going to be the Booker T. Washington Alumni Banquet. And this is where we raise money for our kids to go to college. So we need for you all to come out and help us participate. September the 24th.
In September, and where would it be held? Would it be held on the campus or where?
Well, we having a prayer breakfast that morning at 8 o'clock, and that's going to be on the campus.
Okay.
And then that evening we having a banquet. It's going to be at the Sheraton Brookholder Hotel.
And you know, and I do the Black History, and that's what I do, and that's what people out there know that I'm going to do for Facebook. And just like they just said on the thing today, is that it's only 8 schools, black schools, that's still alive. And only 5 of them came out of Houston. That's Yates, Worthing, Booker T. Washington, Wheatley, and Cashmere. They all came as 5 schools. And then the 3 other schools are out there in Dallas, which is Dallas, Lincoln, and Dallas, Madison. And you know, and it's so great that you said this, because they are trying to close down the little 5 black schools that we got now. And the people don't get around and rally and support these black schools. These people will close down these schools.
Because gentrification has taken over every area that was once considered a black neighborhood. We no longer have any more solid black neighborhoods because of the gentrification that has taken over.
And you know, but Booker T. Washington been a junior and senior high school, and therefore they ain't even know junior high school to feed into Booker T now.
Right. Most of the schools that are around is Hamilton and Black. And they're trying to close down MC Williams and Funville are the only middle schools that are out in the area that's supposed to feed into Booker T. Washington. But they do not, because we have the other races telling them what schools to go to. Like they turned Reagan High into Heights High.
Right.
And the majority of the kids that would have went to Booker T. Washington is now at Reagan High. You know, they normally had 300 to 400 kids when we were in school. Now they have 2,000 kids and 800 people on the year.
You know, and it's so good that we're talking about this, because it's so educational and so virus that we definitely need to talk about it. Yes, and you know, now since Booker T. Washington is a magnet school, which is called an engineering school. And you know, and they trying, just like you said with the beautification, they're trying to do away with the black school, and they trying to make sure that our black history will be eliminated. And the only black history that they want is the black history that they chose to be able to show the young blacks that's coming up in the future. Am I right or wrong?
Right. You're so right. So that's what it's leading up to. Whatever they can get rid of and let them get away with it, that's what they do. So we're going to have to start standing up like we did back in the 60s when we wanted changes. Booker T. Washington, the whole Studewood area stood up. And we need for those kids that grew up in Studewood that left the homeland to come back and support.
And you know, before we close out, Miss Ellen, you know, it's so erratic that you're saying this, because now since they are trying to close these black schools, originally black schools up, just like you say, a lot of kids that used to go to Booker T, especially they got some athletic thing, they go out to the Heights. You know, that once was Reagan. See, so they are trying to eliminate the black schools as much as they possibly can. And we, like you said, in the 60s, we used to fight. I came up in the 50s and the 60s, yeah, we had fighting. Now all we doing now is sitting back and complaining and getting on the computer and looking at the television station, and they're not giving us nothing positive about any black community, especially black schools. Now, as much as Booker T. Washington's basketball team was this past year, they didn't get hardly any coverage to that. And the little coverage that they did have, they gave it the little bit that they did have, they showed Yates. And the only reason they showed Yates because Yates is there every year. But they never showed anything positive about Booker T. Washington. And before I close out this, Miss Ella, one other good part I got to tell you, and especially you Booker T. Washington fans out there. Our athletic director was here today, Mr. Andre Walker, the black athletic director for HIS. His son is a big member of the 2021 Booker T. Washington basketball team. And he is also part of Booker T. Washington. To let you know that our athletic director, his son, and his son could have went to any HISD school he wanted to. And why he chose Booker T. Washington? Because it is a historical school. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Ella. I know your hand. I see your hand. Thank you so much. And thank
That's my son.
your son, because he the one that was holding the camera for y'all, for me, y'all. Thank you. Good.